it down, DJ. What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. Wednesday, Groundhog's Day. I'm Gun, and this is Josh, who I think is at the right audio level. Let's go. What's up, Josh?
Hey, what's up? How are we doing? Does it sound good?
Yeah. No, you sound great. I'm trying to manage the sound of the music. People love the music. We try to slowly wean them off of it because they're addicted to the song. And understand that it's hard to just quit the most banging intro on YouTube cold turkey, but I'll try. By the way, pencil behind the ear, that's when you know. That's when you know my man's doing work, okay?
Oh, yeah.
My man's out here looking.
Old school note-taking, man, for sure.
Just walking around with clipboards. Let's go, yo, Bernardo. Appreciate that sub, Bernardo. Welcome. So man, last night, a lot of fun on the prop shops. Prop hunting. A lot of fun sweats in the Discord. A couple of hooks, right? I think Kyrie got hooked. Was it Kyrie? I feel like Kyrie got hooked. I saw that.
Yeah, definitely. He missed his point prop by 0.5, and he missed his free throw prop by 1. He missed one free throw.
The double hook.
But that wasn't the biggest one of the night. But yeah,
Get it out. Who hurt you?
yeah. Jakob Pearl getting injured was pain. It would have been a near perfect night if he was gonna crush all his props, his PRA, his point prop. He was over halfway there on all of those, and it was 9 minutes in the second quarter, and he gets elbowed in the face by Kuminga. And I guess we're just sitting there waiting for news, and he's in the locker room. He says, "I can't see right. There's something's wrong with his vision." So they nixed him, and that ended up actually on the bright side. It ended up letting the Warriors win the game because they came back from a 15-point deficit and somehow pulled that out a gritty win in San Antonio. So yeah, silver lining, I guess, for me.
I need to fix your camera. Or if you could move to your left like half an inch. Yeah, there we go. Okay, boom, perfect.
Got it. Yeah, because it cuts off, and I don't know where it's cutting it off at.
Yeah, that's my bad. Crop it because I different guests have different angles. But you were my last guest, so I don't know. Different.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a lot of games tonight. 2 more than last night. A couple guys that get boost from some people being out for usage, like the Pacers were gonna be a bonus. So the age old Kerosevert 35% usage or not question comes to play. Joel Embiid rested his last game, should be back today to face a depleted Wizards team. No Bradley Beal, and then yesterday Thomas Bryant got hurt. So this front court will continue to be a honey hole to pick on. We got Terry Rozier without Gordon Hayward, a little revenge narrative. Somebody left a comment on Luke's video this morning and said, could we talk about that? So we'll keep that in mind. I would imagine that might have been one on your list anyway, because you're against the Celtics. Kind of like Fournier on crack, right? What else are we dealing with today? We got John Morant in the Garden. Still no Dylan Brooks for them. Darius Garland out again. Second game that he'll miss, and this is going against the Houston Rockets. Just an incredible spot. Fastest pace, worst defense combination. So we usually run to grab exposure against that. Jared Allen, the cover boy, we might be talking about him. SGA out again for the Thunder. Josh Giddey perhaps has some PRA props we might get behind. However, I might sit this one out because Dallas Mavericks defensively pretty stout, so I don't run to pick on them. Nets, night 2 of a back-to-back. Still no Kevin Durant, no LaMarcus Aldridge. Sacramento, an exponentially worse defense than the Phoenix Suns. However, not quite as fast, but still James Harden, Kyrie should have a stranglehold on the bulk of usage, the bulk of scoring. So we might be discussing some spots there. Nuggets night 2 of a back-to-back. Jokic up against not Rudy Gobert. Hassan Whiteside there. They will also have another game without Donovan Mitchell. and Joe Ingles, he tore his ACL, right? So some of their scrappier defenders not in the mix here. So I'm curious to see Nuggets today, and then tonight the LeBron James less Lakers. He's doubtful. New battle with the Portland Trailblazers in one of the leagues. So plenty of spots to like. I'm sure we're gonna be on today. Where do you want to start us off, man? What's kind of just been on your heart for props today that you think is might be your favorite? Your mic is muted, but you're talking.
Yeah,
Rookie mistake.
we could start with the yeah, right. We can start with the Cavs Rockets since he's the cover boy. Yeah, I mean Jared Allen's one of my favorite props of the day. His fantasy points at 37.
Oh, Whiteside's out. My bad, yeah. My bad.
Whiteside's out.
Yeah, it did just happen while we went live. Good catch, chat. And Clarkson's questionable. Trent Forrest questionable. Oh boy, that game
Maybe
might
Jokic.
get weird, mama.
Yeah, Jokic might sit too.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
All right, my bad. Cavs. Let's talk about Cavs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so we know the Rockets block steal rule, right? Like it looks like a real thing. They have Jared Allen at 37 fantasy points. So I probably like that prop the most of his. Just because of that block steal upside. And he's gonna get the rebounds. So yeah, 37 fantasy points, and then if I wasn't gonna do that, I would do this 10.5 rebound prop. And then on the other side for the Rockets, I know it's the revenge game for KPJ. People don't like him, but even his own team, the Rockets, don't like him, right? So, and there's three things I don't like to do. I don't like to attack the Cavs defense, the Mavs defense, and slow pace Knicks, and on a big slate. So while KPJ has been efficient, especially on his assists rate, I think he's averaging 7 or 8 assists over the last 5 games. I just find it risky on a slate this size to attack.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially like it's one thing to assume some risk when you're just individually prop betting. Even more when you're assuming that risk when you're already taking risks where you got to get multiple things right, a little money. So, yeah, I don't know that I'm running to grab any good defense. Like, so much there, but I definitely do like these Avs spot that they're in. You mentioned Jared Allen, and you mentioned the blocks and steals. If you guys are watching, don't know what we're talking about. Houston, as fast of a pace they run, they play reckless. They also allow almost 10 steals per game. That would have been huge for a guy like Darius Garland, but still some guys that could pick up the slack. And not only do they allow a lot of steals per game, but they are also third in the league in blocks per game. So a lot of defensive metrics that could go some Cavs players' way, and those defensive metrics are so valuable for a site like PrizePicks because they're +3, +3, +3. So Jared Allen, who's averaging 1.5 blocks per game, same with Evan Mobley, and almost a steal per game. That could be an extra +6, +9 to start off on their fantasy points. I have Jared Allen right now listed at 45 fantasy points on the PrizePicks scoring. So that would definitely be some margin of difference between my projections and theirs. So I would lean pretty confidently. And I guess Evan Mobley has a couple of props. He's at 36. I love the kid as a real player, but I hate sweating this dude in fantasy and everything else. It doesn't.
Yeah.
So I guess Jared Allen fantasy points would be somewhere I start, and he's definitely one of those guys. We always talk about the difference between PRA and fantasy points. Usually, I'll take the fantasy points if the guy has defensive peripheral potential, blocks and steals, and doesn't turn the ball over as much. And Jared Allen's not really a ball handler to turn the ball over. A lot of dunks, and that's basically it. And
also with Jared Allen, he if you're in the narratives, he's played all his high school ball and college ball in Austin, Texas, which is like 2 hours from Houston, not too far, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so he's a Texas boy. I mean, I think he's from California originally, but yeah.
Matt says Mike keeps going out when I talking to me. Anybody else having problems? Let me know. Showed 5. Oh man, you guys are dealing with snow. No, we got. Actually, it's supposed to snow where I'm at tomorrow, but I don't have expectations of sticking. But like, no, thank you. You can have it back. We don't want it. All right, Cavs on the board. Where do we want to go from here, Josh?
Yeah. Let's just stick with some of the higher implied total games. And better matchups. So, how about the Kings and Nets?
All right, one of the last games on the docket tonight. Nets still without Kevin Durant. No LaMarcus Aldridge. Night 2 of a back-to-back, but they are taking on the Sacramento Kings. May or may not be with De'Aaron Fox. He's missed. My mic is slipping in and out. Oh, you know what it is? I'll tell you what, Chet. Let me turn off. I bet I know what it is. Filter, edit filter. Yeah, I had a noise gate on. I'm just turning it off. I think that's what it is, guys. My bad. Good catch, though. I appreciate it. Anytime something's messed up, let me know in chat. I'll try to fix it ASAP. James Harden, Kyrie. Any of these two guys leaning early on for props for you? I guess with Harden, the first thing I would be interested in is his assist prop. Yesterday we had it at 9. Today we have it 10.5. Perhaps still some meat on the bone here, but this is a little bit more appropriate line. What's sticking out to you about the Nets?
Yeah, always Harden's assist, and then the Kings really struggle to defend the perimeter. They have given up the most 3-pointers to the shooting guard position over the last 10 to 15 games, and pretty bad overall in the season. And Kyrie's really been chucking it from 3, and so I could get on Kyrie's 2.5 3-point prop, and if you wanted to pair it with the Harden assist prop.
Okay, good correlation. Yeah, a couple threes.
What's Bagley's status?
I think I have him out. I wrote him down as out, and I did this like an hour ago. So unless that has changed, I have him out. Hiccup. Let me make sure that they have it the same. Is out Wednesday against the Nets. Yeah, he's
okay.
Out. Bag alert. Marvin Bag.
Holmes could be interesting. Because we have seen bigs do pretty well against the Nets. So
my mic, bro. Is it happening again, Hater Ronzo, or are you? Josh, you don't hear me slipping, right?
No, I don't hear you slipping at all.
I think I had a gain filter on the stream, and so when I moved my desk, it might have changed some stuff in terms of like how impactful the filter was. But I streamed yesterday, no one said anything, so maybe I'm just not talking loud enough. I don't know. So De'Aaron Fox may or may not play. He's missed 5 or 6 games now. So we probably don't have a lot of accurate lines on the Kings here, but we do have a couple of lines here. Harrison Barnes, 27 fantasy points. Tyrese Halliburton, 35, which I think 35 would be a free square if we knew right now how Fox was out. And 35 is not impossible if Fox is in, so that might be something you lean on now and hope that Fox gets rolled out just to make it that much better. Anything sticking out for you on the Kings?
No, yeah, it was just Halliburton, and maybe I could get on some Holmes rebound prop.
All right, Holmes is at 8.5 rebounds. Yeah, I don't mind that. All right, perusing back up, man. Some spots where we might have an opportunity to increase our success. And the Indiana Pacers, they're without all of their starters essentially, right? No Malcolm Brogdon, no T.J. McConnell, no Domantas Sabonis, Miles Turner, and I think Sabonis is the big one there. He's the guy that came back for a couple of games and went nuts. And in those guys, their absence, Kerosevert projects to lead the team in usage. He's probably their best NBA caliber player. He's hosting an Orlando team that runs a low pace, but still higher than the Pacers' pace, while boasting one of the worst defensive ratings in all of basketball, and while also being on night 2 of a back-to-back. The Pacers lines on PrizePicks, we're working with Kerosevert at 20.5 real points, 6 assists, 5.5 rebounds, 34.5 PRA, and 36 fantasy points. All those numbers, I have him clearing, or at least the fantasy point numbers, I have him clearing. He is somebody that can turn the ball over And there might be an interesting discussion point on whether or not to take the PRA over the fantasy score here. But I do feel like I'm inclined to want a little piece of some Levert action tonight. Is there a line that stands out as potentially the most EV line to you for Levert? Did you have your eye on any of these Pacers props?
Probably the assist prop I like the most. I actually have been going under his points for the last few games, and it's been working for me pretty quite well. Although it is the Magic, so 20.5 is right there in the fringe. I think that'd be too risky to go under again today. So I would say the assist for me.
All right. In the split, without Sabonis, Brogdon, Turner, Kerosevert is holding a 25% usage rate, 31% assist rate, about a fantasy point per minute on PrizePicks scoring. So you're thinking 6 assists might be the way. I can get behind that. That 34% assist rate's nice. And in this front court, without Domantas Sabonis, not only will they not have Sabonis, but Bataze's out and Brissett's questionable. And we've seen the emergence of Isaiah Jackson. They don't have a line on Jackson, but he has been a really, really incredibly efficient hustler per minute. So maybe keep an eye on that. And I really don't know who besides Levert might do some damage here. I'm thinking Chris Duarte might be top 2 in shot attempts. Do you have any interest in Duarte? 14.5 real points. It seems like we don't need to sweat that on a 9-game.
No, I like it for GPP DFS, but
yeah, DFS.
Yeah, he's too risky. Being a rookie and being a streaky shooter for a slate this size, in my opinion.
All right, other side. Could the Magic take advantage of this now depleted and perhaps undersized Pacers front court? You nailed Wendell Carter yesterday. Any Magic action in your future?
They're actually playing a little bit better recently. They're hanging close in games that they would normally get blown out in. So they could easily pull away in this game and do pretty well.
Yeah,
Mo Bamba, I would get on his rebound prop with all those Pacer front court guys out. I could get on his 7.5 rebounds.
Yeah, 7.5 might just be low anyway. Something he's cleared
Yeah.
in 3 of his last 4, and then as you mentioned, this front court not being as stout. So yeah, I don't mind that. He's averaging 8 on the season. You would like to feel better about his minutes, but I'm fine with that. And then Wendell Carter is looking at 28.5 PRA, 14.5 points, 10.5 rebounds. So his rebound number a little bit more appropriate. Sixers and the Wizards. Yeah. So Dinwiddie is they haven't put any information about Dinwiddie, but we have seen him rest some back-to-backs this year. But it looks like nothing came out, so I would just be speculating if I put that into the air. But we know the Wizards are without Thomas Bryant. Maybe that beefs up some minutes in their front court. They are 10.5-point road dogs here. And the Sixers get Joel Embiid back in action here. Did you want to take any Embiid action coming off of a game of rest? They got him at 57 fantasy points. I got him at 61. I definitely don't want to sweat that tonight, but they got him at 31.5 real points, 11.5 rebounds, a couple free throws on the docket. Did you want some Embiid sweat? Do you like any of these other Sixers on some cards tonight?
Yeah, I like Embiid for sure. This might be a time where I get on a first half prop at 15.5 points for him. Because he can get it done in a quarter. We've seen that scoring wise too. And if we think it's going to blow out or has a high blowout potential, then 15.5 points seems pretty reasonable in one half. And I like Tyrese Maxey a lot as well. He's like, I feel like his confidence is just growing and growing, and he's just looking way more explosive than earlier this season. And he doesn't turn the ball over that much. He's pretty efficient on that, and his assist rate's gone really up. So I like his fantasy point prop at 30 because he also has steal upside too. So I'm not worried about the turnovers reducing that down. So yeah, give me some Maxey. And then Embiid, I like his 31.5 point prop. And then I also like his 15.5 first half prop.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of with you on the chopping Embiid's game in half, 15 and a half points. 28 and a half fantasy points I might stay with, but the 15 and a half real points seems very
Yeah.
intriguing. Looking at some of his recent games, just to kind of feel better about his first half minutes. His last game that he played, I mean, he played almost all of the first quarter, most of the second quarter against the Lakers. We saw him play similar similar. So we might expect, a good 17 minutes in the first half. So I think at 17 minutes I can get to 15 and a half. So yeah, I'll take some Embiid first half. Let's go. Charlotte at Boston. I think this is going to be a glorious game for real life for DFS, and then I think we can come away with some fun prize picks props. Like I said today, Luke put up a video. Shout out to Luke, where somebody left a comment, asked if we could talk about Terry Rozier against the Celtics. A little bit of a revenge spot. They did the sign-in trade, so they gave him his money, and then make sure he had a home. I didn't drop him off on the side of the road. But he has a point prop of 19 and a half today. We look at the Celtics, and there's a couple of metrics I want to key in on. And we've been talking about this a little bit more in the last couple of days on this stream, on the DFS stream. It's a term you hear in football analysis all the time. Funnel defense, right? Some teams will funnel teams off of the run and into the pass, and vice versa. Well, a lot of these teams that are restricting points in the paint, such as Miami, New York, Boston, other teams can't score in the paint, so they got to chuck from behind the arc, and that's what we're seeing with those teams. Miami and Milwaukee, top three in points via the three ball. Boston is doing better at restricting a lot. They're more league average. However, that's still where I want to attack them. I feel better about guys that could chuck the ball from the perimeter rather than driving to the rack on like Robert Williams and Al Horford and stuff like that. So I do like the idea of Terry Rozier. I also like that Rozier gets a little bit of a boost in the absence of Gordon Hayward. I don't like revenge games are fun, right? And for a couple of guys, it's definitely a real thing. But in terms of quantifiability from metrics and whatnot, it's not really a thing. But I don't know. Evan Fournier says you're, by the way. So Terry Rozier on the court, Gordon Hayward off the court. Rozier has a 23% usage rate, 18% assist rate, about a fantasy point per minute. I think we had Oubre questionable. So if Kelly Oubre didn't play, and I'll double check, see if we have some type of update on that. If Kelly Oubre didn't play, I said he'll be available. He said he'll be available. All right. He would represent double-digit shot attempts. But I think Terry Rozier has a real shot to be top 3 in shot attempts, and very often he'll be top 1 in shot attempts here, and very often leads the team in real points. 19.5 is pretty appropriate, but maybe some of these other lines, 4 assists, 26.5 PRA stands out as one to possibly jump on as well. I might be involved in some Rozier props. Looking at this on-off court tool, Bridges has a 1.14 fantasy point per minute production. That's PrizePicks scoring again. 26% usage rate, 13% assist rate. No one's really going nuts with the assist percentage other than LaMelo Ball, but Rozier was a guy that we were specifically asked to touch on. So your thoughts on Terry Rozier, Josh?
Yeah, I liked him early in the season. I'm kind of torn on this. I have him on fringe as a fringe prop right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Celtics are playing really good defense lately,
Yes.
and I think the big reason is because Schroeder's playing less minutes. They over the span of games that they're like blowing teams out and shutting teams down, Schroeder's minutes has gone down at like in half. He's playing 16 minutes a game as opposed to 30 plus minutes, and the Celtics are just like getting healthier and their normal units out there. So that makes me hesitant, but it's an important game, right? Like, so the Hornets are 2 games up on the Celtics in the East, and they've kind of gone back and forth at each other. So I mean, Yeah, I could get on the 19.5 point prop as a fringe for now. I like the Celtics side a little bit more.
Celtic. All right, let's talk about the Celtics. I feel like you're gonna talk about some Jason Tatum. As Chronic would say, Jason Tatum. Ayo. What are you
Yeah.
thinking on the Celtics?
Yeah. I mean, the Tatum assists slot machine I've gone to over the last week now, and it's been good. It hasn't gone up. It's been staying at 4 or 4.5, so I could definitely get to that. Marcus Smart's 5.5 assist prop I like too. If you don't feel comfortable with Tatum's, and Smart's been dishing it out a lot. Um, so it makes sense, right? I mean, the Hornets are ranked 29th in assists allowed. It's a fast-paced environment, so there's going to be more possessions, more shot opportunities. So I could see either Smart or Tatum crushing their assist prop. And then
Yeah.
Robert Williams is the second one I like a lot for his rebound prop. I think he's gonna eat on the glass tonight.
Looking at Marcus Smart real quick, and then I'll look at Robert Williams. I feel like I
Okay.
just wrote down Robert Williams on the questionable list, but I got Marcus Smart at 5.32 assists. So, yeah, that's about
He's
right.
probable.
Yeah. Okay. He's probably okay. Cool. Yeah. All right. And then Robert Williams on the rebound prop. We've got him at 10.5 rebounds. 32.5 fantasy points. I've currently got usually any team against the Hornets is going to go nuts in my projections. I got him at 38 fantasy points on a 31-minute projection. I got Tatum at 50, Jaylen Brown at 43, Marcus Smart at 32. So we're almost going to have clearance for the over on everyone, but specifically Robert Williams, I've got him at 38. And Robert Williams is fun for prize pick scoring because the guy gets blocks. He's averaging over 2 blocks per game, and that's right there 6 points. And if he in this spot, a faster paced Hornets team, more implied possessions. It might be a 3 or 4 block night, and that's a 12 point head start, and that's almost halfway to the fantasy point projection. So yeah, I'm with you on that. I do like the thought and the spot for Robert Williams. Any other teams you want to touch on? Chat, load up some of your favorite picks, some of your questions, and we'll attack here. I said earlier it's fun to think about attacking some of these Thunder props in the absence of SGA, but because of the Mavericks' pace and their defense, I think I'm gonna sit out. Is that your approach too, or did you have any Thunder that you were privy to?
No, no. Yeah, I mean, I could get on some Luca props for sure.
Luca.
What's his first half props?
Let's pull up first half. Right, I think right now they just have like points and fantasy points for
Okay.
Mavericks. Let's type in Mavericks here. Luca's at 14.5. Real points 27.5. Fantasy score. Jaylen Brown is at 8.5 points, 15 fantasy score, and that's it. There's like I don't really bet on DFS and Maxi Kleber or Dwight Powell.
Yeah.
So Luca 14.5 real points, 27.5 fantasy score.
I mean, yeah, Brunson's rebound I was going to a lot. It was sitting at like 3.5, but now I think it's gone up. And with Porzingis out, it's more usage and minutes for Brunson. He let us down recently with his assists, because Luca's just taking over that assist role completely. So I mean, it is a good spot for Brunson, and I like it when Porzingis is out, but these props are right on the fringe for him. So yeah, I guess just Luca for the Mavs side.
Yeah, I we're doing some lighting adjustments here on the fly. There we go. Chat, why didn't y'all tell me it looks like I'm sitting in a dark alley? That looks better, right? We're good. Jeez, I looked over. I was like, man, no one cared who I was until I put on the mask. I'm over here two facing it. All right. Utah. All
So
right, a couple questions in chat
yeah,
about the Utah situation.
yeah.
It feels like they're on pace to get this game punted. Clarkson was downgraded to questionable. Whiteside was downgraded to out. We already know Rudy Gobert's out. We already know Donovan Mitchell's out. Nuggets are on night two of a back-to-back. Maybe we'll see if there's been any line movement since we went live.
This Utah punt unit's gritty though. They keep games close.
Yeah. Uh, we talked about that yesterday. These teams too dumb to know they're supposed to suck, right? The Warriors, case in point, is still at 2.5.
Yep.
So I haven't seen any movement here. Somebody asked about what's Jokic's best prop against not Whiteside. So I was actually excited to play Jokic against Whiteside.
Yeah, 67 points last 2 games.
Yeah, Whiteside's kind of overrated on defense, right?
Yeah.
Elite rim protector, gets a lot of blocks, but that's about it. Like you can cook them all day long. So, I guess they would have Eric Pascal, Norvell Pell. I think they have him. Azubike might be in the mix, but no matter what, they'll be pretty undersized. So I don't mind. I don't mind fishing for them. Did they pull all the Jazz off the board? I don't want to talk about, stuff that really doesn't matter. All right, no, we still got some guys on the board. So here's what I'll say. Bojan Bogdanovic, if we're really trying to soak in who might benefit here, I think Bojan would likely lead the team in shot attempts if you don't have Jordan Clarkson, you don't have Donovan Mitchell. If we pull up this advanced on-off court tool via add more funds, and check out Utah. Let's start doing it. Let's pull a couple pieces off the court here. Starting with Donovan Mitchell, it could be 20+ shot attempts per game. Then we'll get Gobert, double-digit rebounds, sometimes 5-8 shot attempts a game, and then Clarkson would be massive. And I mentioned Ingles. I don't want to take Ingles off because he's such a low usage guy, and if I take him off, it's going to dilute the minutes to nothing. But we have about we don't have nothing here. Let me put Bojan on. Putting Bojan on here. 57 minutes of sample size, 24% usage rate, half a fantasy point per minute, but the usage is that high, so it means he was shooting a lot of bricks in this sample size. And let's just take off Clarkson here to get a couple more minutes here. Bojan is at 26% usage rate, so I think Bojan likely leads the team in shot attempts, unless the Utah Jazz come in full punt this one. And earlier this season, there was a similar game, not quite the same, but the same, where a lot of the Jazz starters were out, and we'll stat muse it. And I believe Bojan went nuclear for 50 fantasy points.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Versus Nuggets. Let's go last 10 games.
It's 55, mid-50s, right?
Yeah, I think him and Royce O'Neal. Yeah, in 2 of his last 4 games, he's dropped 60 DraftKings points. But this is the one especially that I'm thinking of. It was January 5th. He dropped 62 DraftKings points, and then his last game he dropped 35. I guess we should have converted that to FTP, but the 60 is a little bit more pertinent because it's a little similar to what we might be having here. Gobert was out that game, Mitchell was in, and then the most recent version here, Gobert was in, everyone was in. So you take out Donovan Mitchell, I think the usage will definitely be there for Bojan, and this is a matchup that he's shown decent success rate in, at least in his last 4. We'll change that to FTP. That'll be consistent with PrizePicks scoring. That's 35, 59, 20, 61 in his last 4 games, and in this season, 35, 61. And considering the usage fluctuation, he's at a 29 fantasy point line on PrizePicks. I currently have him at 31, and that's before taking Whiteside out and perhaps tweaking Clarkson. So maybe it's not a fun click, maybe people aren't used to betting on Jazz, but I'm thinking Bojan fantasy points, man. Can you get behind that?
That you got me sold. That's a really sharp call, man. I would get on it earlier than later, obviously, because if Clarkson is, because they don't have Clarkson on here because he's questionable, right? Still.
Yeah, that just as soon as we went live, we got Whiteside out,
so,
Clarkson questionable.
I would just hedge your bet, take a stand. Do you think if Clarkson doesn't play, I would get on that prop earlier than later.
Yeah, and the crazy thing, that prop is live no matter what, right? 20 that he's clearing that with Donovan Mitchell. So it becomes a little bit better if Clarkson's out for sure.
I was just saying they would take away his prop for a good amount of time in the day if that Clarkson news drops. So at some point.
All right, I'm in agreement here. And then Nuggets side. So yesterday, Boogie didn't play. Jokic did. And I had this weird thought that back-to-back Utah, would Jokic sit and Boogie play? But it doesn't look like there's anything that would support that speculation. But if Boogie didn't play again, Jokic has a path of very little resistance to do whatever he wants to do. Did you have any inclination to get on any Nuggets props or any Jokic props, or is most of those set pretty appropriately?
I would feel most comfortable if I was going to pick one with this fantasy score. I think you have them at what 66, 67,
Yes,
and
I
you
got
have
him.
it
I got him at
57.
60.
You have it at
Jokic?
60.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's probably low, but I had him at 60.
Yeah, because it's usually around mid 60. I could get on his fantasy score. I mean, what the last two games against the Jazz, he had 66, 67. It's been consistent around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd pick that if I was going to pick one. But like you said, you got to keep out on the track of news. Like he very well could sit. Don't know.
Getting caught up on chat here. Make sure that no suggestion gets missed out. By the way, shout out to all you guys. Skimmer, Danny, Sean, Sid, Mia Moore, my mod slash producer slash stage roadie, getting the lighting done, getting the modding done, bro. You know, find yourself a woman like that. Casey Hicks in the chat.
I think they want to talk Blazers Lakers before we got off.
Blazers Lakers. All right.
Yeah.
Andrew Martinez. Okay. Blazers Lakers. So a lot to like here with one, the total being 223. Two, the Blazers hosting one of the worst defensive ratings in all of basketball. Three, no LeBron James. He's doubtful for this one. I think AD is going to play, right? I think it's LeBron doubtful, AD expected to play. He's listed as probable with that wrist. And then, the Russell Westbrook, man. People love to hate him. Love to hate Russell Westbrook, but playing a lot more efficiently since Shaq told him to slow it down. Turnovers are still kind of every now and popping up, but the usage has been up there lately. A couple of good matchups against Charlotte, Atlanta. Charlotte, he had nobody to help him out here. If we pull up the PrizePicks board on the Lakers, we got AD at 25.5 points, 38.5 PRA, 46.5 fantasy points, which is 6 points less than I have him. And I would say it's a meme about AD always going to the locker room, blah, 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 blah. But he has shown us that he could play minutes, 38, 34 minutes his last two games. You get 38 minutes of AD against a bottom 5 defense, I would be involved in that. And then I also have Westbrook at 49 fantasy points from this far out. And they have Westbrook at 43. So I do have... I'm a little bit more bullish with my algorithm because it is designed for DFS to give me a little bit more of the top end median range outcome. But they're pretty good. So anything for the Lakers that you want to get behind? What about?
I'm leaning Westbrook's points. What was that?
Yeah, I was gonna say something to do with Westbrook here. Points or assists would be my lean. What do you think?
I would say points, but it's weird because like these games with LeBron being out and them being so thin, like some games he'll just take over and just want to look to score first, and then other games he'll just want to command the floor and dish it out and not look to score. So it's kind of like a coin flip between his assists and points. I feel like, but I feel pretty confident that he's gonna crush one of them.
Yeah. So Westbrook, AD on the court, LeBron off the court this season. Westbrook has a 41% assist rate.
Yeah.
So we give him
Yeah, I know. I mean, I took that bait against the Hornets and he had 5 assists. So
that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not fair.
I know.
God dang it. Did you see what oh my God. First of all, AD wasn't in that game. To get assists, you still need guys that can score. The lineup that Vogel put out for Russell Westbrook against the Hornets, they literally should have got the man fired. It was like I literally thought that he was trying to sabotage Westbrook with this. Look at this lineup he put up: Stanley Johnson, Avery Bradley, Wayne Ellington, DeAndre Jordan. Where the F are your assists supposed to come from? It was so bad. Westbrook put up. He said, "F it, I'm done passing." 30 points in the second half. So
I did that to poke the bear. I wanted to. I knew it was gonna stir your fire.
God dang it. So give me Westbrook assists. As long as he's got 80 on the court, I'm with that. Malik Monk, by the way, big. Malik Monk did not play that Charlotte game
Yeah,
either.
that's a good point. Yeah, he's back.
And
He's
yeah,
back.
so now you got at least two guys that you can dish it to: Malik Monk,
Yeah.
AD. That's better than DeAndre Jordan, Avery Bradley, Wayne Ellington. So
No,
I'll
I'm
take
on
him.
it. I like you talked me on it because I was on the fence between his points and assists. I'll lean more assists if you had to have me pick one.
All right. J. Cole says Russ PRA because he is turnover prone. I don't mind that. I think it's a good call. 37.5 PRA. Sure. Yeah, I think that's a solid call. Russ doesn't really get us a lot of. So he's averaging a steal per game, but that's still not enough to wash the turnovers and still a little bit more.
I want to look out for these Monk props. I hope they release him because I'd be really interested in this matchup for sure.
All right. AD, you want to get behind anything on AD? 25.5 real points. So if Russ is going to have a 40% assist rate, indicating that he might be a little bit more likely to pass the ball, AD in this split has a 30% usage rate. So maybe he's going to score the ball a little bit more. I do think Malik Monk is a wild card here if he's inserted into the starting lineup. Maybe he represents a few more shots, but I think a bulk of the scoring here is going to be between Monk and AD. AD's point prop is at 25.5. Any confidence in that?
Yeah. Makes sense. Pair it with the Westbrook assist. I like it.
All right, and then as the Blazers' defense has been really, really bad, but the Lakers' defense has been exploitable as well at times here. Any run backs here with C.J. McCollum, Anthony Simons, Norman Powell, Yusuf Nurkic? There's a whole lot of potential cannibalism within in terms of who gets hot, who gets streaky. A lot of 20-25% usage rates. So I typically haven't been targeting them. But is there anything that stood out to you, or do you mostly Lakers on this side?
I always like targeting the Lakers with point guards, right? It's been fruitful all season, so I could get on some Simons over 18.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have a Rocco block steal prop, do they? They would sometimes put it out there.
Yeah, I don't see it right now. I think I've noticed that if it's over 2, they don't do it. It's just like anything that's 1.5. And
That
really
makes
serve
makes
that
sense.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe could get to his fantasy score. He should rack up blocks and steals in this matchup for sure with Westbrook and Stanley Johnson.
Yeah, I think he was the guy that just hooked the other day as well. He had like 6 stocks or something like that and missed his prop by 0.2. And I think it was Quinn was sweating that in chat.
Yeah, he got 25.3 and the prop was 26, I believe.
Oh, okay, dude, that's pain.
I know.
Speed running through chat here so nobody gets left behind. Shadow Stefan says, John Morant, primetime Garden, 27.5 points seems too low. I don't mind that, but we talked about the pace of the Knicks being annoying. They got him at 27.5, and he's cleared that. I think without Dylan Brooks, he's still going to lead the team in shot attempts. I think I read that he's leading the league in points in the paint, or he's one of the league leaders. He's definitely leading the league for all the guards and points in the paint, which is pretty crazy. But it's also why the Grizzlies are allowing so many blocks per game, because John Morant just don't care. He coming. If you hear me before you see me, I got John Morant in the trunk. 80 points, Russ assists, Harden assists, Halliburton assists to Stefan. I like that. Thoughts on Tatum assists? We were on that, John. You might have just missed it, but there's a lot of goodness behind Celtics against the Hornets. And Josh, you've been behind Tatum assists for a little bit now, right? Not just today.
It was just like
if I would have froze, you guys would have been like, "What?" That was so I guess he froze. Jaren Jackson over for fantasy points. Maybe I think I'm gonna stay away from that spot for a lot, just because it's so slow paced. I feel like I should hang up the call so my boy's just not frozen. But what are you gonna do? What's the safest picks?
I just lost volume.
Yeah, no, you froze in the middle of a thing, so I was like, I know we're getting a cold front, but that's ridiculous. No, okay. So somebody asked, what's the safest pick? Shout out to Lanakala. Incredible name. I guess we've already covered all the stuff that we like a lot, but Bojan fantasy points were standing out to me. Russell Westbrook assists is standing out to me. Tatum assists is standing out to me. I don't know if I'm going to get behind the Rozier point prop, but if we got Oubre out, I can get behind some Rozier numbers. Jared Allen.
Yeah, Jared Allen is pretty safe, I feel like, and then Embiid first half prop.
Yeah. Jim says, what up, Jim? Shout out to channel member Jim. Hi, Gunner. On this slate, playing Jokic, Marquise Chris, Tatum, Jay Brown, Smart, and Morant. We'll talk about Chris on the next show in about 10 minutes. I don't want to put any money on Marquise Chris in a prop setting. But yes, I'll be back with the DFS show in about 10 minutes, Jim, to have a better opinion on that. Could you play 2 Celtics in one lineup on GPP on FanDuel? Yeah. Guys, this is more of a PrizePicks show, but I'm coming back live with Rod in 10 minutes to talk some DFS. Best Jokic prop. Man, probably fantasy points, all-encompassing. 57. Maybe the PRA, unless you really expect a lot of blocks and steals against the Jazz here. But maybe the PRA. But I don't know. 9.5 assists does seem to add. Maybe I'd probably go PRA. But it's like he's so expensive in terms of points here that I don't know that I need to get to that on a back-to-back. Maybe if Boogie's for sure out, I'd feel a little bit better. But that's not stuff that we're really gonna be able to do here. Chat, if you guys want access to updated props, updated projections, and the premium Discord where we have the prize picks and props channel, go to rundfs.com. Get yourself a membership. There's a couple of memberships still live. We still have a V-Day coupon for the year pass, and we have week passes, all that good stuff still up. And then also, I just dropped NFL Squares. I started thinking, man, I'm always waiting till the last minute to fill squares. I was like, why don't I just do 2 weeks, up the ante a little bit? So if you guys want some squares action, we post a spreadsheet on that. And that's it, yeah. So Josh will have the prop detector later today, and as more news comes and the slate evolves, we'll have stronger leans in certain spots, and then that might change some action here. We might get some surprise outs and be able to capitalize and attack the slate tomorrow. The slate stay big all week for basically until the All-Star break. I think we only had like 1 4-gamer between now and then, so we should have plenty to shop around tomorrow as well. So we'll be back live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. Matt Polchin says Kevin Porter Jr. 6.5 assists. Josh is definitely digging some revenge for the team that traded him for throwing his plate across the room because Taron Prince that took his locker. I think was the story that Taron Prince they moved lockers and Taron Prince got his locker, and Taron Prince was like an incredible play last night, by the way. Yeah. Anyway, chat, I'm gonna be back in a couple minutes for some DFS talk, breaking down the slate more in depth. Still gonna have a little bit of PrizePicks eyes out there, so if you're looking for props, go for it. But we just might drop some nuggets that push you a little bit closer one way. I think Raj is scheduled for that one. Josh, it's always fun. It's always fun.
It is, man. I got one last little thing. Can you get up back to some Sweater Man with Kuzma? You think Dinwiddie's gonna be limited? That's one fruit for thought to think about. And he played some high school ball in Philly too. So there you go.
Best time to wear a pink sweater. It's Kuzma time. Good luck. God bless. Go with some money. Love you guys. Why am I kissing? Who does that? What? That's weird.